Chapter 2. Ooh, that was just Chapter 1. Into the Flames. I opened my eyes, staring at a strange view for the third time in the past week. This looks sort of familiar, though. I lie still in what seems to be a cot and calmly try to assess my surroundings. It's then I realize that I've been hearing two equally familiar voices. Look, I know everything. I already did before, but now I can prove it. You can't honestly expect that I'm just going to forget what I saw, Professor K. I hear a heavy sigh and turn my head to see Takumi talking to Hikaru. No, not with you, Takumi. It'd be a heck of a lot easier on me if you did, though. Harkura, you're awake. I turn my head towards Shou's voice, who was apparently sitting on the other side of me the whole time. How do you feel? Before I can respond, Takumi and Hikaru's conversation stops. They both walk over to me. Are you okay? Yeah? I try to sit up, and both Shou and Takumi rush to help me up. I'm really not the damsel in distress type, thanks, but I'm totally fine. Let them help. I'm gonna let them help. I give everyone a smile as they help me sit up. Thanks. It's the least I can do to help. I'm glad to help you anytime, Harkura. I swing my legs over the side of the bed and try to recall what happened to me in this position. That put me in this position. At distinctly remembering slamming a certain someone against the wall. Not in that way, folks, unfortunately. Didn't slam Shou against the wall in that way, but in due time. I gasp and look at Shou. Oh my god, Shou, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Huh? For what? Oh. That's okay. It wasn't your fault. Besides, I'm tougher than that. So tough you were practically in tears when Harkura was unconscious? Not cool, Taku. Aw, he cares. Am I wrong then? Wasn't it from the pain of being slammed against a wall, or could it be from something else? Aw, so sweet. That's enough, Takumi. Shou, take Angel home and talk to her about what we've discussed. Takumi, let's continue our discussion at my desk. Harkura, I hope you feel better. Hikaru turns on his heel and walks back over to his desk. Takumi, looking exactly like a child that's just been scolded, glances back at Shou. Sorry, Shou. I hope you feel better, Harkura. Takumi runs off to catch up with the professor, leaving Shou and I alone. It's really late, so we'd better get going. We're once again walking down the street to my apartment, but this time it feels like we're both in our own worlds. My parents' situation weighs heavily on my mind, and I feel incredibly helpless. I glance at Shou. He seems bummed out about something too. I decide to break the silence. We're making a habit out of this, huh? Huh? The whole me blowing up, passing out, and having you walk me home after thing? Heh, yeah, I guess we are. We walk along the darkening street in silence for a while. Then I decide to try to start up a conversation again. I'm sorry. We stop and stare at each other. A few moments pass before we burst into laughter. You know, where I went to high school, you'd owe me a soda right now for that. Really? Huh. Well, I guess I have to buy you one sometime. Are you asking me out on a date, Shou? You could tell me about your high school then, too. Sounds good. But what were you apologizing for? I am the only one who should be sorry. I hurt you. It's just, I totally failed you. I'm supposed to be helping you so that doesn't happen. But I was just sitting right there and I couldn't do anything to help. I think Tetsuya's right. You should have picked someone else. It's not your fault. That's not your fault, Shou. It was just... I pause, wondering how to explain my family situation. I got a text message that really upset me. No one would have predicted that. And besides, Tetsuya and Shinji couldn't help either. Well, I guess that's true too. Actually, how did you guys stop me? It was Takumi. He had to use a tranquilizer dart just to get close to you. Wow, he just happened to have a tranquilizer dart on him? I'm sorry you got hurt. What was he carrying? What was he carrying a tranquilizer? Exactly, what was he carrying a tranquilizer dart for anyway? I instinctively touched the shoulder where I felt the sharp but brief pain. So, is Takumi just a human then? Yeah, and he was still the only one who could help you. Seeing how pained Shou looks, I stifle my curiosity. about Takumi and put on a smile. You were there to take care of me as soon as you could. And you were there when I woke up. And it was very comforting. So, thanks. Oh, well, good. I'm glad I could be helpful in some way. Oh, I almost forgot. Shinji apologized about having to leave before you woke up. He and Tetsuya both had work, and Professor K said you have to start taking supplementary classes. So you're already all signed up for some classes starting tomorrow. Oh, alright then. It's pretty sudden, but I guess considering what happened, I shouldn't be surprised. We arrive at my apartment just then, and Shou looks at me. It's pretty late, so I gotta get going, but thanks for everything you said. I'll text you later, okay? Okay, thanks for walking me home. With a single wave, Shou jogs off into the night. I walk into my apartment feeling much more positive than I did this afternoon. It's the next morning. I'm staring, bleary-eyed, at an email that completely changes my plans for today. Normally I only have one early afternoon class, but now... New course is added, Hagiwara University faculty. You have been added to Control and Focus 0032, Arden. Theoretical Magical Studies 0036, Hirayama. Practical Magic Application 0013, Kazama. Ugh. I shoved my face into my pillow and let out all of my frustrations into it. I usually love school, but come on, even I need a break. I lift my head up and glare at nothing. Oh, I'm so upset about you, Harkura. You get to go to this school where all the boys are hot and your professor is hot and you've got magic. I feel so bad and feel so sorry for you, Harkura. Thanks a lot, Professor K. As frustrated as I am, I know that I need these classes too. I couldn't even go to get to sleep for hours last night. I was so scared. I sigh and push myself up. I reread the email and noticed that there's a class called Practical Magic Application. It's with Professor Kazama. A vivid flashback of Hikaru throwing a sphere of light at me fills my head and a creeping sense of dread crawls up my spine. Oh god, he wouldn't... Would he? Now I know that Hikaru was never going to Now I know that Hikaru was never trying to hurt me, only trigger my power. But would he do that again? What if I can't do anything and he has to do... And he has to... And then the memory of hanging suspended as my powers ran wild, flinging Shou aside like it was nothing. It's all I can see. When I think of that, I get so terrified that I feel like I'm going to start panicking all over again. No, that would be completely counterproductive. I just need to calm down and try to figure out how to control these powers in the first place. That gives me an idea. I slowly, shakingly hold a hand out, like I saw Hikaru do before I inhale? No, control. I need to be calm or else. No, just focus on what you're trying to do. I hold my hand out, and after a few moments, realize I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'll just have to do my best to figure it out while I'm there. Hikaru will be a lot more careful now, I'm sure. I think anyway. I sigh heavily and get out of bed. It's late afternoon. I trudge along the mostly empty basement, not at all looking forward to my next class. Practical Magic Application. I managed to learn a bit in Control and Focus, mostly because it's still the beginning of the year. Everything was focused on just breathing correctly, but I still couldn't summon anything. Theoretical Magic Studies was definitely way over my head, but it did at least give me some good information about magical limits. Apparently everyone is born with a certain amount of potential. I wonder what mine is. Yours is probably through the roof. You probably have potential over 9,000, I'm guessing. But now I've got to be clueless in yet another class. I grit my teeth. I'm not the type to have no idea what's going on in class. I worked very hard, so I don't have to feel that way. But here, it's like I'm totally out of my element. Hey, Harkura! I look towards the voice at my side, completely startled out of my thoughts. What's up? Why are you here? I thought you weren't, I try to think of how to say it and make it vaguely magical hand motion. Takumi laughs. Really? You think so? Could I pass for something not human? I looked Takumi over carefully. Well, yeah, plus there was the thing yesterday. Oh, right, that. Sorry about that. I really didn't want to hurt you. No, it's okay. I'm really glad you were able to stop me before anything happened. So, as for why I'm here, I managed to convince the administration to let me attend classes normally. classes normally only supernatural students would attend. Professor K helped out a lot with that. I think back on how frustrated Hikaru looked yesterday. Hikaru seemed like he wouldn't be the type to be pushed around easily. But why does Takumi want to sit in anyway? A thought strikes me then, as I remember that he randomly had a tranquilizer dart on him. Maybe Takumi is actually kind of scary. We stop in front of the classroom I was headed to, and Takumi pushes open the door for me. I'm being allowed to sit in today while they get me all officially set up. Since we're both new, want to sit together? Sure. Okay. I walk past him into the classroom and he follows me. As we walk up the steps, I notice that there's a different view than the first time I was in Professor Kazama's class. Is that all done by magic? Will I be doing something like that will I be able to do something like that one day? I see someone in orange waving to me enthusiastically. Is it Shou? I'm confused to see him in what I thought was a beginner's class, but I decided not to ask for now. Hey guys, what's up? I love how everybody dresses the same way. They have the same outfit in their closet that they just pick out every single morning, but that's okay. Hey man! Takumi sits next to Shou and gestures for me to sit on the other side of him. Shou leans over to look at me. How are you feeling? Pretty good, thanks. I nervously wait for Shou to mention what happened yesterday, but he never does. Professor Kazama walks in then, and after putting his things away, he begins the lecture. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to continue the subject of elemental magic. I knew it, elemental magic, I knew it. I opened my laptop and prepared to take notes. Elemental magic is one form of magic that's powered and drawn from the elements of the earth itself. Oh, you don't say! There have been cases of people with especially powerful auras utilizing elements outside of the earth. But since this is a remedial class, we won't be covering that. There are many elements magic users can wield in a variety of different ways. Since we talked about hydrokinesis last week, today we'll be talking about its other form, cryokinesis, commonly referred to as ice. During the lecture, Hikaru goes over what cryokinesis is and some of the purpose it can be used for. Towards the end of the lecture, I could swear I can hear faint voices coming from outside the door. Ice can even be an effective weapon in battle, and one of the largest families of half-dragons has utilized it this way for centuries. Ooh, there's dragons in this universe too. Yukimura, Hirayama, would you come in? We all look towards the door that opens, and in walk the two men, as if they've just been waiting outside. Murmurs spread throughout the classroom. Tetsuya, Shinji. Shou leans over and glances at Takumi and I before whispering, I bet you anything those two have been arguing again. I know, it's hilarious. I wonder what they're even here for. One thing I do like about this story is that even though you do have one partner that you're going to be paired with, you still see a good you still see the other characters like quite frequently. You know, it's not like you're just isolated just to your partner. You get to still interact with and you get to interact with the other boys as well. I wonder what they're even here for, though. Hikaru continues ignoring our whispers. Shinji and Tetsuya are from my advanced class, but they agreed to do a demonstration for us here today. Tetsuya? I guess Tetsuya is the cryokinetic, is from what I can tell. Tetsuya steps forward and grabs his left forearm near his elbow with his right hand. He closes his eyes for just a moment before running his hands over his arm. I hear a faint crackling sound from where I sit on the edge of my seat. I don't realize what he's done at first until I see the falling mist from his arm. I quickly examine him and see Tetsuya's covered his left arm with sparkling ice. There's also a blade that juts far past his fist that looks razor sharp, so he's like glacious. I can't help it when a gasp escapes my mouth. This is one example of cryokinesis applied for us in battle. Tetsuya has effectively covered his arm in incredibly hard ice to act both as armor and as a weapon. Before we move on to the next demonstration, does anyone have any questions? Still amazed at the sight before me, I raise my hand. Yes, Angel? From what I understand, this is the most peaceful period of time there's been so far? Why would a supernatural being need to learn to fight? There are whispers throughout the class following my question. Takumi starts whispering to me. Looks like you've just outed yourself as being a complete newbie. What? How? It's true that monsters no longer freely roam the lands, and supernaturals have opted to hide themselves as much as possible in today's world. But the fact is that there are still plenty of reasons to learn to use your powers to defend yourself. From barroom brawls to supernatural wars, supernaturals are still people and they're always going to have disputes. Hikaru sighs and suddenly looks very tired. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So that's why you're here. To help you gain mastery of your power so you can defend yourself. I'm taken aback by Hikaru's speech. I sense I've struck a nerve and I feel like an idiot for asking such an obvious question. I'm feeling completely embarrassed when I feel a warm hand on mine. I look up and see that Shou's reaching over Takumi. Don't worry about it. Professor K is known for getting a little emotional sometimes. And he knows you don't know about this stuff. Thanks. Can you guys maybe not do that kind of stuff right now and pay attention to the lecture? Shinji's about to do something super cool. Yeah, I wonder what Shinji can do. Sorry. We quickly drop each other's hands and I turn my attention back down towards Shinji. So it's okay if I do a combat demonstration then? Of course, we'll be doing combat later here too. Just don't get carried away. Perish the thought, Professor K. I never do anything dangerous to my buddy Tatsu. Shinji raises both his hands in front of his torso as if he were holding something that we couldn't see. I hear a different sort of crackling this time, and the air around Shinji's hands starts to shimmer and distort. I swear, Shinji, if you don't move. Suddenly I see white flashes of something leap between Shinji's hands. Oh, does electricity? Almost at the same time as I realize what I'm seeing, he pushes out both hands towards Tetsuya's ice-covered arm. Ah, the electricity arcs from his hands to the ice. Yeah, so he's air. Almost immediately, the ice begins to melt and turn into a white mist. Everyone in the classroom seems to gasp at once. Nice. Hikaru even seems a little surprised as he turns to face the class with an awkward smile. Okay, so that was one way of disabling an opponent using ice, if you happen to be lucky enough to be an electrokinetic. I think that was a nice conclusion to our lecture, so we're done for the day. And I'm pretty sure that, I'm almost positive that as a phoenix, that Shou is pyrokinetic. And the white-haired guy, Hikaru, I think Takumi, he's human, so I don't know if he has an elemental associated with himself. And Hikaru is Earth, maybe? Come on, I'll walk you home. Hey, what about me? Can I come? Shou looks at me questioningly, and I nod and grab my bag. It's not far, and I'm feeling fine, but sure. Tetsuya and Shinji almost immediately start to argue, but then they both leave the class together before we can catch up to them. In the hallway, all I hear are people talking about how cool the demonstrations were. Takumi beside me literally hasn't stopped talking since I told him he could come and is excitedly bouncing along. Did you guys see that? I didn't even know Shinji could do that. It was so inventive too. I would never have thought to do that. Man, I wish I'd paid attention better in physics. Glance over at Shou, who has been quiet since the class ended. I want to ask Shou what's wrong, but it's kind of hard to have a serious conversation with Takumi skipping right in between us. I think if I look hard enough, I can see actual stars in Takumi's eyes. Ah, but Tetsuya might come home in a bad mood because of that. But still, it was so cool. I wish I could do awesome stuff like you guys can. Ah, I want to have magic powers. Yeah, they're pretty great when you're good with them. Shou mumbles this under his breath while Takumi continues talking. But I heard him. I'm gonna go see if I can catch up with Shinji and Tatsuya so I can ask them more. Come on, Harkura! Before I can say anything, I'm dragged off by Takumi with Shou running to keep up on us. Shinji has brought us to a little park just outside of the campus. We managed to catch up with them, but Takumi had so many questions that we decided to hang out a little longer. I figured I should hear the answers anyway, so I didn't mind. After a quick trip to the restroom, I'm now sitting on a bench with Shou while Takumi shoots rapid-fire questions. So, Shinji, are you a lightning mage or what? I can handle all of the elements to varying degrees. Oh wow. Wow, that's amazing. So you're probably the most powerful one here, right? I glance over at Shou, who's sitting next to me. I don't know him well enough to say he's not acting like himself, but I feel like he's been unusually quiet. Yeah, right. You want to see power? Then let's have a proper demonstration. Ice versus ice. No thanks, I'm not that stupid. He turns to Takumi, ignoring Tetsuya's smug grin. It's true that most people can only utilize one element, but being able to use more than one doesn't mean much when it comes to raw power. In fact, 9 times out of 10, if they're using the same element, a specialist will beat someone who can use more than one. Interesting. You catching this, Harkura? I snap out of staring at Shou. What? Oh, yes. It makes sense after all. Mastery of a subject usually takes intense focus and years. I trail off and my eyes drift to Shou. And years of practice. Yeah, you got it. I notice that Tetsuya and Shinji have become strangely silent. I glance at Takumi, surprised he stopped talking for more than a moment. Okay, clearly there's something no one is talking about here, and it has to do with Shou's powers. Unable to bear the stretching silence much longer, I'll reach for my bag to distract myself with my phone. But it's not there. I look down under the bench from left to right. Didn't I bring it? I know I had it when I left class. The guys immediately pick up on my distress. What's up, Harkura? Are you looking for something? I nod and get up from the bench, looking all around as I speak. I'm just looking for my bag. I'm absolutely sure I brought it with me from Professor Kazama's class. I remember you having it too, because you checked your phone as soon as we walked outside. I have to admit that I thought Takumi was far too busy talking to pay attention to anything. I make a mental note to revise my growing assumption that he was kind of an airhead. But you probably put it down for a moment, didn't you? When you used the restroom? Maybe, for like 1 minute when I... Oh, I'll be right back. I immediately dashed off to the park's restrooms. As soon as I get in, I spot my bag in a spot I would never have left it. The sink. I cautiously took a look around the bathroom before walking up to the sink and grabbing it. When I walked back outside, she was waiting near the bathroom's entrance for me. Oh good, you found it. Losing your stuff would have been a pain for sure. Takumi and the others walk up to us. I hope you went through to see everything to make sure nothing was missing from it. I mean, you did do that, right, Harkura? Have you checked the bag? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Takumi. Huh? Oh no, but that's a good idea. Facepalm. Come on, Harkura. Come on. You should know better. I rummage through the bag, checking at my laptop, notebooks, and wallet are inside. Everything appears to be there, but everything's been all mixed up. Even though nothing's missing, someone's definitely gone through my bag. But why would someone go through your things? Do you have any enemies, Harkura? What? No, why would I? When I think through the reasons I could be targeted, only one comes to mind. I am Harkura Shinomura, daughter of Shinomura Industries CEO. I don't pretend to know anything my father does, but he's bound to have some people who would want to use me to get at him. I can't tell these guys that, though, nor can I get them involved in anything dangerous because of who I am. Harkura, are you absolutely sure? Anything could help. This whole thing might be nothing, but... No, I can't think of any reason why anyone would target me. I mean, they don't have to be... She doesn't have to know one to be an enemy. It could be someone who's just trying to steal something, though I don't know why they wouldn't steal the laptop or the wallet. Honestly, it could have just been a thief that got scared off by someone coming in or something. Yeah, that's probably it. There's no need to scare Harkura with your theories, Takumi. Okama's razor, huh? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okama's razor. In plainer words, this most simple solution is the most likely. There's probably nothing to worry about, Harkura. Takumi doesn't look convinced in the least, and I turn around so I don't have to face him. Shou peeks around at me, though, his face right in front of mine. Come on, why don't I walk you home? Alright, thanks. We'll see you later, guys. We wave goodbye and go to our separate ways, though Takumi's enthusiasm was noticeably curbed. I glanced at Shou beside me and wonder if he somehow sensed how uncomfortable I was. He did get me out of there pretty quick. Could he know I'm hiding something? But Shou looks at me with a smile so bright that I reflectively smile back. He seems content to walk in silence too. That's right, Shou's hiding something too. I guess even people like him have their demons.